Hey guys, welcome to a journal and chat with me session number 2. And this one's gonna be a little bit of a epic fail, to be honest with you, just because I was just like not feeling it this week or last week. It's been a rough couple of days, and we'll kind of go into everything in just a second, but in terms of the actual planning and journaling in this video, it's not going to be very pretty. But I do think it'll be a good example of like not trying to be such a perfectionist when it comes to journaling. Sometimes you're just like not in the mood, but you still want to write out your thoughts. You still want to utilize the tools that you have given yourself to better yourself, either organization wise or just mental health wise. And for me, journaling and planning is very like detrimental to my mental health. Blogging too, and just like anything where I can like document my memories and my emotions and my thoughts. So I apologize in advance if this video is like kind of whack for lack of a better term, but it is what it is. It just was not a great week, but let's just dive right into the topics today. Okay, so this week I actually really wanted to make this video last week actually, because I'm going to New York City next weekend, or this weekend. Today is the day of recording is the 15th of April on a Monday. So I am going to just kind of talk briefly about my solo NYC trip, and go into a little bit on why I am taking this trip and my thoughts on traveling solo in general. So that's kind of the main topic of today's video. But like I said, the journaling session here is kind of a fail. I just really wanted to talk with you guys as I journaled, but yeah. So I am actually writing on a page where I thought I was going to write more from the previous page, so I decorated this page a little bit. Like I added a couple of things. But that night I ended up like not feeling very well, so I just kind of cut the journaling short. And that is why there is like already decoration on here. I had not filmed that. I don't film every single journal page, obviously. So yeah, just letting you guys know why there is something already on here. Like I just had pre-planned to write more, but I was not feeling it. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to not feel it, but I was gonna add like more. Usually I would add a little bit more decoration stuff, but I don't think it's necessary. So I wanted to be real about how I journal. And if you've watched my previous video, the kind of intro video on planning, I wanted to talk about like embracing the imperfections and how if you are somebody who is like a perfectionist, like slightly OCD about how you design the layout to your journals and planners, it totally makes sense for you to keep going, because that's like something that you're very passionate about and like you'll want to keep decorating it, designing that way. But for me personally, when I try to decorate that way, I never can feel consistent with it because it's too much work. Honestly, it's too like mentally taxing for me to like think about how perfect my pages look. And so I just tend to decorate my journal whatever. I sometimes make it really nice, and sometimes it looks like absolute crap, and I'm just here to tell you that's okay. It's better to journal with like very minimal decoration and with an ugly page or spread. It's better to journal at all than not doing it just because it's not perfect. Like, unless you have like a social media presence that is entirely about how perfect your journals or planners look. I don't think it's something that the rest of us need to stress on. As long as you have your pen to a paper, that's really all it is. The decoration and the aesthetics and all that is all secondary. So that is why this page is kind of depressing. But honestly, it's more important that I write. It's not as important that it looks pretty, but decorating is just something that, it just like visually feels good to do because I am a designer, so I like to see things visually, but it's not necessary at all. I just think it's fun to do. But on days like this, where I'm just not in the mood, where I'm having like a bad day or having a bad week even, honestly, it's more important that I just write anything out. That I open my journal and just start writing. I also wanted to briefly show you guys my filofax, personal size filofax journal. And this one is more of a planner, but it is kind of my daily thoughts journal. I have a very hard time with remembering small things and details of a day. Like, I don't know, like, I honestly never remember when I have my period, stuff like that, just because I have very, very, like, short memory, and I think it's really correlated with having ADHD, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. So usually I will try and write out my thoughts into my journal, but because I don't journal every single day, I just felt like I wanted a place where I can put out a little bit more in-depth thoughts without having to worry about journaling like an entire page worth, if that makes sense. So this is kind of how I'm utilizing the filofax planner. I'm just gonna like put in the goal here is to write in the daily section like every single day, and just like a couple of sentences about how I was feeling, like if I felt bad, what did I eat, and stuff like that. It's just to kind of remind myself of some important like health things and mood things, and anxiety related things, when I get episodes, stuff like that. I usually just, like I said, I put it into my journal. In the past I would put it into my planner a little bit, but when it comes to my planner, I really have to be short and sweet with what I write in it. Otherwise, I will not use it. It's just too much information I just felt like I don't have time for it. So with the planner, I really just keep it like business, really. Like, I do have a planner. I use the Jibun Techo, I think it's called. And I'll talk about this planner in a different video because it's kind of extensive. This planner is a little bit crazy, honestly. But anyway, I'm probably really all over the place with this one because, like I said, I was just like not feeling it this week, last week, today. But the thing I wanted to talk about really was my New York City trip coming up. So I'm going to be taking a solo New York City trip. It's only for 3 days, so it's a very short trip, and I'm flying from Toronto to New York City, so it's like 2-hour max flight. It's a very short flight and a very short trip. So the reason I'm going is because I originally, before I came to Toronto, was living in New York. So I am a US citizen. My partner is Canadian. So I just wanted to share that background really quick because I do end up going back to the States, back and forth from Toronto to the States pretty often. So this trip isn't anything spectacular, I guess, is my point. Like, I'm not going to sightsee or because I'm going to an event or anything like that. It's just kind of, I need to do some like health related checkups, and it's much easier to do them in New York. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy because, like who flies like out of the country just to get like a health checkup and stuff, but I do have some like specialty issues, and I have like some specialty like medications that I have to pick up from the States, so I kind of make it like a duo trip. Like I go get, errands done that I need to get done. And then I spend most of my time back in Toronto in Canada with my partner. So, backstory that no one really asked for, but the reason that I wanted to share that with you guys is because I want to emphasize that this trip is not something spectacular. I know New York City is a big travel destination for a lot of people, but for me, it's just kind of like going back home. I mean, I didn't live in NYC, but I did live in New York, and for me, it just kind of feels like I'm going back home, if that makes sense. To further convolute what I just said, home for me would actually be Los Angeles, because I lived in LA for 20 years before I came to New York. So, again, convoluted story that nobody asked for, but just wanted to share in case anybody is watching this and can relate. I know it's kind of odd, but yeah. So I am a New Yorker. I have a New York license. I have a New York address. But I am from LA and I live in Toronto. So how much harder can that be to follow on? I don't know. So there are a lot of things that go on in my life, and I do feel like sometimes it's just really overwhelming. Like, I don't necessarily feel excited about this trip, but at the same time, I should. So I guess I kind of wanted to talk about that. This trip will do 3 things for me. Well, 4 actually. So 1, again, is going to be to do some errands that I have some checkups I have to do and some errands I need to do. And 2, I've been wanting to do more photography in the city. I haven't really been able to go around NYC and do the photography stuff or vlogging or anything like that. If you guys are interested in the photography stuff, I do have a photography blog. It's just like a enthusiast hobby, I guess you can say, although I do some photography on the side as like a freelancing thing. But I've always been into cameras and photography in general, so it'd be really great to just be able to walk around NYC and take some photos. And then the last thing is shopping. So I never get to shop in NYC because I was always like with my partner, and I hate shopping with him because he is just like so impatient. He hates shopping, and I honestly would rather shop alone anyway. So this is like the first time that I'll be in the city proper and get to like shop on my own. But a couple of things, I'm not going to be getting any new bags. That's like my one rule for myself. No new bags because I have enough and I'm happy with what I have recently picked up with like from the Coach collection. I'm not going to be shopping for bags, but I will be shopping at like some little shops and bookstores I've been wanting to go to. One is the Mysterious bookstore, which is like all mystery, thriller, and horror books. I tried going there last time I was in New York City and it was closed. I forget why. I think it was like some kind of holiday, but so that sucked. I'm usually not in Soho, or what is that area? Yeah, I think it's Soho. I think that bookstore is in Soho. I'm not there that often, so I'm probably going to be in Soho a little bit more this time around and just like walk around there. In New York City, I'll usually be in like Brooklyn, or Manhattan, or like Central. In the past, if I had to be in like NYC proper, those are the areas I would usually be in. So I'm trying to mix it up this time around, but I will be in Brooklyn again just because I want to be like get some food in Chinatown and all that stuff. So, and my appointments are in Manhattan, like towards the Upper East Side, I guess. I don't know if it's Upper East Side, but it's like near Central Park, like near the entrance of Central Park, that area, Columbus Square. I don't know why I'm talking as if like everybody who's watching this is from New York. But I feel like a lot of people have been there, so they probably know these areas. They're all like very touristy areas, I think, especially Central Park. But anyway, those are where my appointments are. How I feel about traveling alone, it's mixed, because I do feel, you know, my partner is my emotional support person. I also have like an emotional support cat and an emotional support dog, and none of them are coming with me. So doing this kind of stuff alone is sometimes scary, because I really lean on all of my emotional support, like animals and my people, like here, and not being near them and feeling like I'm gonna get an anxiety attack while I'm taking the subway or whatever, is a scary thought. But you know, there was a point in my life in my 20s where I was extremely independent. I loved going to like movies by myself. I liked going to get lunch by myself, and I liked traveling and taking photos and doing all that stuff by myself. So along the way, I definitely have lost a lot of that independency, and sometimes I just long for that back. I know that girl is still there somewhere. I know she's in there somewhere. So we're going to kind of find myself in NYC, of all places, on this trip. And I do, like, I feel kind of bad right now, so it's hard for me to think positively about it. But I do feel a little bit excited about it, just because it's been so long since I've done like a trip by myself. I'm not meeting up with anyone. I'm not meeting up with friends. I do have some coworkers and friends who do live in New York City, but I haven't asked them to hang out or anything. I just wanted to do something for myself. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. This is getting pretty long. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even though it's kind of all over the place. And let me know in the comments below, how you guys feeling? How you guys doing? What do you think of the solo trip? Would you guys do a solo trip yourself? But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. As always, I really appreciate you guys just like talking with me in the comments or in the community tab rather. So yeah. If you made it to the end, I don't know how you did that, but I applaud you because I know this was definitely a rambly, very, very rambly video, but I appreciate you guys. So that's it from me today, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!